So there's no reason to overcomplicate what happened today. What's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions, and we talked about it a little bit earlier today, why the NASDAQ market was actually seeing and making higher highs, and it was shortly after a Goldman Sachs analyst gave Apple stock a price target of $199 when Apple was previously trading in the low 150s. When Apple stock begins to indicate signs of an uptrend, it's not much of a surprise that because of the market cap that Apple carries, when Apple begins to go up, again at a 2.43 trillion, not billion, $trillion market cap, of course it's going to move the rest of the market. But what's to come tomorrow? This is what we talked about in our earlier video today, that this rally is great, but we called it out, right? It is a short-term positive catalyst. There has never been a market analyst that has been able to drive the market and that be the sole reason on why the stock market will continue to make higher highs. At the end of the day, it's important to understand how significant each news outlet or reporting is. When an analyst gives an expectation or a new price target, of course, depending on the credibility behind that institution, it will determine how much the market actually reacts in a positive or negative way to that new price target. We've seen it many times that, a bunch of different institutions can give a lower price target for the notorious Tesla. And often Tesla reacts in a negative way, right? Today, it was a positive price target, right? It was higher. Right now, Apple's trading at 153. And it was previously trading at 151. With this new price target, you can see that during that pre-market session, it gapped up to 152 and led the overall rally. But you can see, look at the time right on over here. We get to the time right around 12:20 to 12:25. That's when Apple peaked. And if we correlate on over to NASDAQ, it should be very similar. We can see here that right around the 11:20 to around 12:25, that's when we actually got confirmation of the NASDAQ market selling off. So again, it's putting two and two together that yes, you could make money with these price targets, either going short or going long, depending on what these price targets are telling you. But you need to understand that they are normally short-lived, either positive or negative catalysts. They will never continue to carry the rest of the market with it, especially when one of the most significant people that is influencing the market right now is about to speak tomorrow. And yes or no, I'm not talking about President Biden. I'm talking about Jerome Powell. And this is exactly what every news outlet is covering right now. Right now, the market is concerned because of Powell's testimony this week. For those that are unaware, I've made 2 videos already. Yesterday for our Sunday Stock Talk, and today making you guys all aware that Tuesday, March 7th, 30 minutes after the market opens, the head of the Federal Reserve, my goodness, my apologies, Jerome Powell is going to be speaking live, and tomorrow it's going to be reporting in front of Congress. I guess both days are. And then on Wednesday, March 8th, 30 minutes after the market opens, again, he's going to be speaking once again. So both days are testimonies, both days are live streams. Again, people are simply looking out for what he's going to say about the overall market. The big concern right now are interest rates. Is the Federal Reserve thinking of being more hawkish? Meaning, again, you're going to hear this term a lot. Hawkish means more aggressive with interest rate hikes. Dovish means less aggressive with interest rate hikes. For those that are unaware, I just wanted to pull this up for you guys, for those that are a little bit newer to the market. The last interest rate hike was from January 31st to February 1st, and that was a 0.25% interest rate hike. That was the lowest interest rate hike that we've seen since March 17th of 2022, and that was because inflation was actually coming down. But for those that have been paying attention to the inflation report, it hasn't been coming down as much as we want it to. When is the next inflation report? Well, the next CPI data report, which is the inflation report, is on March 14th, 2023. I will be live streaming it for free on this YouTube channel. All you have to do is subscribe. But it's when this report is released that will give us a better understanding of what Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, will most likely lead when it comes down to the next interest rate hike. Right now, you might be asking, well, why is there such a concern of needing to be more aggressive? Not only is inflation not coming down as quickly as we would want to, but we are also seeing economic data such as employment reports and initial claims reports. Pretty much, it's a very strong labor market, stronger than expected. And if we see that inflation is not going down, right? So think of it, I want to give you an analogy. Think of it as the Federal Reserve is trying to put out a fire. That's the inflation, right? They're trying to put out the fire. They're using water, right? They're raising interest rates. But now, right, the fire looked like it was getting put out. We were only using a significant or a small amount of water at this point, the 0.25% interest rate hike. But all of a sudden, right, we went from 9.1 inflation all the way down to 6.4. But now we went from a big house fire to now it's contained in a room, but it's not going down or it's not going away as quickly as we would want to. And if anything, it's beginning to catch fire once again, right? This is what we're seeing right now with our inflation rate. Right now, we went from 9.1% and we were consistently dropping pretty significantly. But now we are beginning to see that inflation, when the expectation for last month was 6.3 and the previous reporting was 6.5, we came in at 6.4. So we did go down, but we didn't go down as much as we expected it to, right? So if you're trying to put out a fire, you have an expectation of how long it's going to take to put that out. But if you see that with all the water you're using, if it's too little water and the fire begins to catch more of the house once again, your job as the Federal Reserve or as a firefighter is to put out that fire. So that means that you're only going to need to use more water, meaning raising interest rates even more. This might be the worst analogy, or it might make sense to some of you. But that's what I want you guys to understand. The Federal Reserve is trying to put out a fire for this inflation, and the fire is no longer going away as quickly as it was. So this means that they're going to have to use more water, therefore raise interest rates, maybe more aggressive, especially if this Friday the employment rate and non-farm payrolls come in higher than expected. If we show a strong labor market, then the Federal Reserve can justify being more aggressive with future interest rate hikes, especially if this up and coming CPI data report on March 14th, 1 hour before the market opens, comes out higher than expected. I think I just spit. I do apologize for that. But other than that, I want you to be aware. Tomorrow, Jerome Powell speaks. Wednesday, Jerome Powell speaks. Thursday, there is initial claims and continuing claims report. And then Friday, we have non-farm payrolls, and we also have the unemployment or the employment rate. So the number of people that are actually employed and how many people or how many jobs were created in the month of February. This is the significant reports that are going to be released this week. Next week is on March 14th, the CPI data report. Now you are all aware, right? You're aware of what's to come. So one of two things. You will either sit on your hands and hope for the best. That's normally what beginners do, right? Or you're going to be proactive, right? It doesn't mean that you have to be scared to have money invested. That's not what I'm saying, right? There's nothing wrong with having money invested. I have money invested long term, and I won't sell that regardless. But it's understanding that you are prepared for worst case scenario. And what do I mean by that? Well, how I prepare for that, and again, this is just me. You guys can let me know down in the comment section. By preparing for worst case scenario is anticipating if the market does begin to sell off, can I tolerate it? Can I buy at lower levels? Because that's all it is, right? We all know markets are eventually going to recover. It's simply, can we tolerate the time that it will take for the market to recover? And can we take advantage of the opportunity when the market does, right? When the markets sell off, if NASDAQ sells right back off to 260, you think I'm going to cry? No. For me, I can short on the way down, but you don't have to, right? The real big money is going to be made on the way back up. So the simple question is, why are you so scared in locking in profits here that if the market does sell off, you're not going to, you're really at that point just hoping for the market to fully recover, and you're not going to be able to take advantage of the lower prices, right? That's worst case scenario. But you're like, well, Ricky, what if the market skyrockets? That's correct. But even if you reduce your position size here, if market does begin to make new highs, then you can always get back in. And that's the idea of always being prepared for worst case scenario. It's not because you need to, because you don't need to do anything, right? But it's knowing that in the worst case, you still have a plan in place. And to me, that's more important because remember, there's no such thing as a perfect trader. There's no such thing as a perfect investor. It's simply being able to tolerate worst case scenario. And that's what I'm really excited to follow up with when it comes down to this overall market. It's, well, will Jerome Powell tomorrow or Wednesday say anything to not back up what the Atlanta president said and wanting to be less aggressive with future interest rate hikes and supporting a 0.25% interest rate hike? In my opinion, that's what the market is looking for. That is what the market is listening to see if Jerome Powell says anything about a hint on the next interest rate hike. And then what I'm paying attention to is the unemployment rate and, of course, the next inflation report. So other than that, just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware for the overall market. We are looking a little bit more on the overbought side based off of the technicals. But again, technicals don't mean anything when there's going to be a fundamental reason on why the market's going to react to Jerome Powell, right? That's what's most important to me as of right now. So I'm taking it day by day, and I'm very excited to live stream it. And again, that's only for the people that are subscribed to this channel. So I hope that it earned your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And one of the things that we want to remind you is, again, for our Learn Plan Profit group, I trade live with them every single morning. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access. And right now, a way to enter our GTR giveaway or $50,000 cash. It's the biggest giveaway we've ever done. We've given away laptops, we've given away money, but we've never given away a supercar. So I'm giving away this 2019 Nissan GTR or $50,000 cash. And a way to enter is by signing up for Learn Plan Profit 2.0 right now. You will earn a total of 5,000 automatic entries by clicking the second link down below. It's our biggest sale. It's $150 off. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access. And yes, you get entered 5,000 automatic times for a chance to win this GTR in your driveway or $50,000 cash in your pocket. Another way to enter is by heading on over to shoptechbuds.com, and for every $1 that you spend, it equals 5 automatic entries. An example would be is something like these shirts. So these are 150 entries. We just came out actually with a new collection today, and you can see that I'm wearing one. So this one's 300 entries, and this is the GTR Tokyo crew neck. And again, it's all available at shoptechbuds.com or the fourth link in the description down below. And again, in my opinion, I personally really do like it. You guys can let me know down in the comment section what you think about our new crew necks. And again, new apparel is going to be released on a weekly basis. So I appreciate your time. Hope that we're in a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. I'll see you tomorrow for the live stream for Jerome Powell. Again, all we ask you to do is to get this video to over 1,500 likes, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Again, it will be only for the people that are subscribed to the channel. So appreciate your time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.